Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. So we continue on the next topic for Sci 101. Today we are talking about a brief touch that will be necessary for your exam, the domains of human development. Yeah, we just a little scratch on human development. So we talking about how we develop from this years, a child from infants to adolescence to adulthood and older adulthood. Yes, so we have a lot of proponents or people that have a lot of things to say here. We should know very importantly that we have three major domains of development. There are, when we say somebody is developing, there are three major areas we develop: bodily, that is biological domain; then mentally, that is cognitive domain; yes, and the last is social, we call it psychosocial domain. Yes, so these are the three areas, and we talk about when we're talking about human development. So, but for the purpose of this course, there is some persons we will want to talk about what they said, yes, concerning human development. And we know first we talk about yes, Sigmund Freud. We talked about during this when we we're talking about the school of thought, said something. Yeah, he said you remember he's a proponent of the psychoanalytic school of thought. Yes, there is something we didn't mention when we were talking about that. You know, Sigmund Freud was the one that said that humans have three metaphorical components of our personality, which he emphasized as the id, that's id, the ego, then the superego. Yes, these are the three metaphorical components. He called them the psychic energy, which we may not necessarily emphasize on, but for as a matter of necessity, let me try to do something about that. We should know that the id, the first one, is innate at birth. Yes, the id is innate at birth. It is immoral. Yes, it seeks for immediate gratification, just like a child that sees a bread that the father came back with, he want to eat it alone and everything immediately, no excuse. Then ego is the executive part, while the id takes on pleasure principle. This particular one, the ego takes on reality principle. Yes, it seeks for the right time to do it, whether good or bad thing. They seek for a better time that they will not be judged or criticized or even punished. Yes, but the third one, the superego, obeys the moral principle and is the one that want to abide by every rule. Yes, so but that is for that. Then we want to talk about this same Sigmund Freud and his contribution to human development. He brought about what we call the psychosexual theory. Psychosexual theory of human development by Sigmund Freud. He propounded a theory of 5 stages, which is very important for your exams. The first stage, we call it the oral stage. Oral stage, that is 0 to 1 year. So here, and please, before I continue, we should remember very importantly that this theory says, yes, this theory says specifically that there are things that every individual go through these stages when they are developing. There are kind of training necessary for every child to have an adequate development in each of these stages. And according to Sigmund Freud, that any abnormal training, whether overtraining or undertraining, leads to fixations, and these fixations will manifest in the person's adult life. Yes, another course in second year perhaps will take care of this better, but for the purpose of this course, we should know that the stages are the oral stage, which is 0 to 1. Yes, the erogenous zone, according to him, those area of pleasure. In every stage there is an area of pleasure, and in this stage the erogenous zone here is in the mouth. This is a time when you hold a child, you want to take it to the mouth, your hand to his mouth, his or her mouth. Everything the child gets, he's taking to the mouth, because the erogenous zone here is in the mouth. I may not necessarily talk about the physics here or the manifestation in our adult personality. That will be in second year, I think. Yeah, sure. Yes, so the erogenous zone in the second stage, which we call the anal stage, is in the anus. This is where they are going through toilet training. Yes, that is 1 to 2 years or 3 years. Yeah, yes. And the third stage is the phallic stage. Phallic stage here, that's PHALLIC. So the phallic stage, 3 to 5 years. Yes. So here we are looking at the erogenous zone. The area of pleasure here is in the parent of the opposite sex. So this is the moment the child wants, when maybe he's sitting on the father's leg, and when the mother comes, say, go, go, go. That is a girl child. You know, this is what we call the Electra complex. You know, but when the boy is sitting on the mother's leg, and the father comes, he'll be eyeing the man who came to take what that belongs to me. You want to kill the father and collect the mother. This is what we call the Oedipus complex. You know, the Oedipus is a Greek mythology. Yeah, it's a Greek mythology, Greek myth. He was told by a witch prophet that one day you will kill your father and marry your mother. And this is a very loyal and filial son. He was so heartbroken. How can he do that? So he ran away from from his home. He ran far, in fact, let me use the word, to another country, like to make sure that he did not kill his father and marry his mother. Like he cannot do such cruel thing, you know. But on the way, when he was running away in the bush, perhaps he met a man that challenged him, and they started fighting, and he killed the man and married the wife, not knowing that those guys are his real parents, you know. So that is how the name of the guy is Oedipus. So in this stage, when that moment a child is craving for the mother's love against the father, is Oedipus complex. And when the girl is craving for the father's love against the mother, we call it the Electra complex. Yes, just trying to do what is necessary for this course. Later in second year, we'll go deep into it. Yeah, the fourth stage. The fourth stage this time we call it latency stage. Latency stage here, everything is dormant. Nothing goes on here, 6 to 12 some years. So nothing, everything is dormant. The word is latent. So static, and before we get to the genital stage. Genital stage here now, the area of pleasure, erogenous zone, is in outside the pairs. Yes, you're not my friend, go. You are not my friend, this person is my friend. All of those small girls, just 1, just 2, they'll start making friends, and before you know it, they will come back and say, Mommy, and the other person said, and they'll be playing, and you say a word, and the mother will say, come here, where did you learn that from? You know, these things have started playing, they have started learning from outside. And it's very important to know that the kind of training people or children receive from house has a very big role to play, you know, on their survival outside there. You know, if you don't give them the right training, they may be lost out there, because they'll bring it in. They'll be taught out there, you know. So another theorist this time around is another psychodynamic theorist, that is Henrik Erikson. But you know, as much as Sigmund Freud contributed a lot of things in his theory, but he emphasized that everything is about sex. Yes, to him, he said that everything is all about sex, 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 sex. He always mentioned that everything, for example, this video I'm making to bring every explanation to all the courses, so that we'll have people that will have the maximum points in their exams and trying to contribute to my society and everything. He said because I want to yes, according to him, trying to explain in that loose sense, this is because I'm looking for sex. Let me use that word, or however I'm going to interpret it. But you know, this caused a lot of work and controversies. Actually, if I may want to go historically to the work of psychoanalysis, we understand that he started this work with James Brewer. James Brewer, who was a doctor in those days, that saw a patient. I don't want to go through this. Let's leave it. Anna, oh yeah, let's leave it. Maybe later in the future, I will talk about it. But why did they separate? Is because Sigmund Freud insisted everything's about sex, and this man said, "Hello, I'm out." Anyways, but later Sigmund Freud explained to us that sex that he's using here is referring to anything we derive pleasure in doing. For example, I think I derive pleasure in sharing knowledge. Yes, I derive pleasure in having excellent students, and I think I'm passionate about lecturing. Yes, I think so. Okay, so meanwhile, Henrik Erikson, as a psychodynamic, we call them the New Freudians, the new ones, he refused everything about sex. So that's why he didn't go about psychosexual whatever. He propounded his own theory, where he talked about the social theory of human development. So we are talking about how we develop by our area of pleasures and everything, and how they affect us in the adulthood. We consider how they now come playing a role. Okay, here he's talking about the social activities, how you relate with the person around you, how you relate with your parents, the significant others, your peers, and everything. Whereas Sigmund Freud, in his psychosocial theory, gave us 5 stages. Henrik Erikson, in 1963, gave us a theory of 8 stages, a social development theory. If you remember, we talked about 3 major domains: the biological, the cognitive, and the social. So Henrik Erikson considered the social domain, the psychosocial domain, and that's why we're having these 8 stages. According to him, individuals or children develop from the first stage. He called it trust versus mistrust. Yes, please, in as much as this topic will be treated better in second year, perhaps, yes, second year, I'm sure, you must try to know the stages for this exam. Don't mix them up. Don't put the number 1 or number 3 to number 5 or 6, So it's very important for your exam. So trust versus mistrust. At this point, a child can trust the father or the mother. You carry a child, you throw him up, you catch him, you throw him up, you catch him. He says jump, he'll jump because he's trusting you're going to catch him. Daddy, I don't have school fees. They trust, I want biscuit, all of these things. They trust in you that you do it. At this 0 to 1 year, if you start failing the child, they will not trust you on even being able to provide their school fees. They will not have that effort. Please, I don't want to give these explanations in this video this time, until we get to the place we needed to. But this is the first one: trust versus mistrust. The second one talk about autonomy versus shame and doubt. The third one talk about initiative versus guilt. The fourth one is industry versus inferiority. The fifth, we have identity versus role confusion. And then the sixth is intimacy versus isolation. Then the seventh is general activity versus stagnation. And we have the last one as ego integrity. Some literature will tell you integrity versus despair. Yes, these are the 3 stages, the 8 stages, and we understand that in each of these stages, they are continuum. If the first stage went well, then the second will go well. If the first stage did not go well, there will be a problem in initiating the second stage when you get there. So if the child has that trust, then when he gets to the second one, having that autonomy, that is the time they want to scatter the whole television and everything, and you are still, So, but some children may not want to take risks, So after that, they are going down to the third one, where we talk about their initiative, having their own ideas and everything. So that is what we discuss on that. And from there, you see them industry, breaking remotes, trying to do this, trying to know what is inside and everything. So you understand that the 5th stage, identity, if they don't know themselves, you may see them trying to play with maybe opposite sex. You see a lady going to play ball with a girl, the boys and everything. And as you understand that these things affect also the next stage, once they pass the adolescent stage, when they are getting to the place of companionship, who do I stay with, you discover that they are having problem with that, because from the 5th stage, they are already lost, So in this light, we understand they are continuing, they affect themselves. Yes. So that is for the psychosocial theory. Then let me try to also add the cognitive theory by Jean Piaget. This is a cognitive theory. Jean Piaget, a Frenchman, he discussed the development of the cognitive development of individuals from infant. So according to him, the first stage is the sensory stage, or the sensory motor stage, where everything that matters about the child is the things that happen via the senses. Yes, we have a statement, out of sight, out of mind. Yes, what they are seeing is what they are interested in, what they heard or what they tested and everything. So here, everything is all about the sense organs. Yes, from there we move to the pre-operational. This is where they start having some object permanence, and here they also try to generalize everything. When you tell them this goat has 4 legs and you say goat, then when a dog passes, they'll call it a goat. This is the point that we are not able to differentiate all those things in pre-operational. They will move to the concrete operational. This is the moment their brain is also improving. They are able to use counters or maybe pebbles or stones to do some basic arithmetics. Yes, that is in the concrete operational. While on the 4th stage, when they get to the formal operational, they don't need those pebbles anymore to do any arithmetics. They can do it offhand. When you give them some rules, they can memorize it all.